Hi, and welcome back to another edition of our Education Spotlight. We're going to do something unique and fun today with Miss Tasha Robinson. Tasha, how are you today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing good. Although it looks beautiful behind me, the sky looks a little threatening here at the beach here, so you never know with these weird August weather days here in Florida.
I know, I was just swimming. It's a great day to swim.
I love it. Normally we get a chance to hang out with you during our summer music camp, and of course this year's been a little different. Tell us, what have you been up to in this weird quarantine that we've been in?
Yeah, it's been really different. I have a passion in fitness, so I've been doing a lot of that. And then I've actually been doing a little bit of some harp classes at one of the hospital. I work for the gym for the hospital, and I brought in the harps. And so I've been doing that a couple of times. Doing some private teaching, quite a bit of Zoom, lots of Zoom. Sometimes doing some social distance lessons, things like that. Did a couple weddings out there and sweating. In late spring, I had a really big concert up north in Ocala, and we have another big concert in November. Linda and I do, and we're doing some Bach and we're doing some Ravel, and so there's always reasons to play. So
that's wonderful. Now Tasha is the harpist for the Venice Symphony. She's also part of our education team, where she goes out into the schools for our Symphony in the Schools program, and she teaches harp at our summer music camp. Now harp is one of those instruments we don't normally get a chance to do. How did you get involved with harp? How did that all begin?
Oh, sure. Well, this is my new studio, and we moved in November, and it's adjacent to the house. It's really fun that we've finally gotten our house built after 3 years. And so it's a very long story, but my dad bought a harp that looks more like that for my mom. Here's my mom right here. And he said, hey, so, I think you should take some harp lessons. And my mom thought that was a great idea too. And, but unbeknownst to them, there's that many people in my family. So my mom didn't have a lot of time for the harp. So it stuck around in our living room for probably 2-3 years. And then we finally moved to a large enough center that I could take lessons. And so that's how it all started. I took piano first. Dad was like, you're going piano. I'm like, okay, do piano. And so I got my basics, which was very helpful actually. So that's kind of how it all started.
Now, did that coordinate at all, like having that piano background, did that help in harp? Is it totally different?
It did. I was loathing Dad, but man, I always, especially when you went off to music school and theory and all of that, and it was very, very helpful to have that background. Yeah.
So it's a specialized thing. Did you find that you were able to do and have opportunities as a kid growing up as a harpist?
Yeah, I was an Army kid, so 2 countries, and I like 2 high schools, 2 middle schools, 3 elementary schools. So, but yeah, my dad would always make sure I'd have another harp teacher waiting wherever we went. And I was really lucky when we lived in Germany. He phoned ahead and he found a teacher, an American, that was over there because her husband was working for John Deere in Germany. And so I was really lucky. I would go to my German Musikschule and climb to the top of the building and have my lesson in English, thankfully. And that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I did orchestra in high school, and did some competitions when I was living in Germany. That was what really motivated me, was living in Europe with it. It was very motivational.
When kids get a chance to hear you play, whether it's when you come into the schools or get a chance to be in one of your classes, they're always like, it's just this new thing that they never get a chance to try. What do you see with young people when they're trying experimenting with the harp for the first time?
They learn very quickly. One of the classes I just taught brought out Star Wars, and within, 10, 20 minutes, they had it down and they wanted to make videos of themselves playing it. So I think once they figure out the strings and the order, then they see that it's really possible, especially if they have a strong ear or it's a second or third instrument. That helps too, always. That really significantly helps. So, yeah.
Now, when you pan the camera, we saw that there was the harp up close you showed us, and then there's another one behind there. So you have 3 harps there, at least that I can see.
Today we have 9 harps. We have 9 harps.
Oh, yeah. Now, is it like collecting baseball cards? What's the difference? Do they
It's
sound
really
different?
a bad habit. They start off really small and then they just get bigger and bigger and bigger and take up more space. And then all of a sudden you have a room in your house dedicated to this. It's just and then you have temperatures, and then you have to buy a car that is dedicated to the harp. So
now we've learned this summer that, different string instruments, whether, a violin's going to sound different than a bass because of the size. Does the size of the harp strings, does that change the pitch, or what does it make of having a bigger harp?
Yeah, because the longer the string is, the lower you go, the lower the pitch is. Even if I was to just kind of come over and, you're not going to get that on a wee little pentecast. You have to have a big harp for that. And so that's helpful, especially, like if you're playing the Darth Vader, if you're bringing him in or something or even Mars from the planets, we match the violins all through that. And it's all in the bass. In fact, you have to put the harp down so you don't hurt your back by playing those last few strings for that movement of Mars, of the planets.
That's great. And you teach, locally here, and students can reach out and take lessons and try and I'm sure there's a way of getting a hold of a harp and trying it out before making that huge financial investment as well.
Oh, for sure. In fact, I do teach at a Montessori school and Island Village, and I'm going in my 8th year with them. And this year we're on Zoom, a little tricky, but we probably will be building harps. We build harps every year. Some of them, they turn out fancier than other years. Sometimes they're hot pink, sometimes they're really neat colors. And they get better each year as the builders' kits get better each year. So they're made in Minnesota. So.
That's wonderful. Well, that's so cool, because the whole point of this series is just to learn and be more, comfortable with these things. And what Tasha is going to share with us this week is kind of a little bit of behind the scenes, a little one-on-one of what is the harp, and doing some examples for us as well, correct?
Right. A little bit of the one over here and the one in the middle, and the really neatly colored one at the end is my electroacoustic. And I bought it a little over a year ago. I'm still figuring that one out myself. There's a lot of neat things being done with that kind of harp on YouTube these days, and just in general. So.
Well, that's one of you've definitely been keeping busy in quarantine here, and I'm glad you got a chance to get out to the beach and have a quick swim yourself. And we're so excited. Our students miss seeing you this year, but I know we'll be back together soon, dancing and playing together when we can, when it's safe.
Sounds awesome. Thank you so much. This was such a blast.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
This season, the Education Spotlight Series is brought to you by the Venice Symphony and also the 2020 Giving Challenge. Thank you so much for your support of our education initiatives.
Hi there and welcome. It's Tasha. How is everybody? I've missed you guys so much. I've been missing camp this year so much. So I wanted to start off to share with you my little friend, as we all know, from those beginning years of camp, Luigi. Do you guys remember Luigi? He had 19 strings on him, and he is so much fun. Just so much fun, isn't he? And look at him, he has red strings and darker blue strings, which are always fun to play as well. And he has a great sound considering he's so small. But you guys remember what we used to do all the time in camp? We used to start off with single notes, right? Nice C scale. And then sometimes we'd get to learn a tune, which was so much fun. Do you remember that? So we'd start with maybe usually something a little familiar. So we start off with sometimes maybe the Star Wars, or usually Twinkle first, maybe a little bit of Hot Cross Buns. So yeah, so he's got 19 strings on him, and he's got holes on the back, so I can go ahead and replace those strings when they do break, which hopefully isn't often, you know, sometimes depending on the weather, things like that. And of course, we've got the neck, and we've got the bridge pins right here, and we've got the tuning pin, so when we put the tuning key on, we can raise or lower the string. Make sure we always stay in tune, which this harp actually does quite well with the tuning. And then, of course, we have my other friend here. This is my Celtic harp. Oh, welcome to my Celtic harp. Yes, and this one is 36 strings. So we've got a lot more harp to listen to. You better listen. All the way to the top. Woohoo! So there, we still have the blues. And we have the reds. And you guys remember, now this is something that we can play on this harp, but not Luigi. Do you remember this part? So, of course, that was from Darth Vader, right? Darth Vader coming in on for Star Wars, and that was always something that we would do as well when we had camp together. And so you see that this harp, for those of our non-campers watching this, we have our levers on this harp, right? And they're color-coded, which makes it so much easier. So these are for the red ones, and they're marked, and these are for the dark ones, and they're marked as well. And right now, it makes it so much easier to get to other keys, right? So we can get out of the key of C as well. I can go to, ooh, maybe like the key of G. Ooh, we need that F sharp for the key of G, don't we? So yeah, so that's a lot of fun as well. So this is another harp that I would bring to camp too. And of course, we still have the neck, but now we have the levers, and we have the bridge pins and the tuning pins, and we've got the holes in the back, because we still have strings to replace. Those don't ever go away, unfortunately. I wish they did sometimes, don't you? Okay, so we're moving it along here. And our next harp we have, oh, now this is my baby. We got two babies over here in the corner that take up a lot more room than a baby does, right? Yeah. And this is my 47 string. She's been in my life, oh, for about 25 years now. Don't do the math. But she's been in my life for about 25 years. And we still have the red strings. And the dark strings. So obviously she carries a little bit better than the Celtic, right? But she's a lot of fun, and I like the Celtic for those sweaty, sweaty, sweaty days when you're playing maybe a wedding outside, something like that. Now, this is something fun I learned this summer, and it's from an orchestral excerpt called Capriccio Español. So it's a lot of fun, huh? And that is a cadenza, which is something where it features the harp in the middle of the piece, which is always awesome, because sometimes, you know, when we're covered and we're layered and we're part of it, we're part of the color. We may not carry the melody like the flute, but they do have these special little times throughout our pieces where we have cadenzas, and we can shape them and make them fast and color them, and we can do all kinds of things. And of course, I did the glissing, and that is something that we do a lot too. Now, this is one of my favorite tunes. This is called 10 Past 2. And I don't know about you, but my hair got crazy this summer. Did yours, without being able to go get to the barber and get your hair taken care of? Craziness. So anyways, 10 Past 2. Enjoy. This one features slap bass. things you're not seeing because obviously we don't see my